Good morning. I'm Jano Lieber, acting chairman and CEO of the MTA, and I cannot tell you how thrilled we at the MTA are to be able to welcome Governor Hochul here this morning on literally the first train carrying passengers of any kind that made its way from Jamaica Station, the linchpin of the Long Island Railroad system, into this new East Side Access terminal. People have been talking about East Side Access for generations, that Long Islanders who worked in East Midtown, in the center of our office economy, would be able to get directly to East Midtown, be able to get directly to Grand Central rather than having to make their way back and forth to Penn Station. Now it is close to becoming a reality. 3 years ago, when I was asked to take a look at this job, it was behind schedule and having real budget problems. And every time a review had been done of this project, a new schedule had been set. But that didn't happen this time. We doubled down and said, no, we're going to stick to the schedule 2022. And what you're seeing today is more proof that we are on schedule to deliver this for Long Island, for the region, in 2022. It's been my pleasure to work with Governor Hochul for some time. When she was the lieutenant governor, she was very present in our Long Island mega projects. In particular, the third track project, which is a huge project for Long Island, again and again, Governor Hochul showed up to emphasize the project's importance to Long Island and her commitment to the region. So it seems really appropriate that now, in her new role as governor, we're able to welcome her to this project. So I want to thank you. I also want to acknowledge Congresswoman Maloney, who has been a supporter for years of transportation of every kind in the region and passionate advocate for New York mass transit in the Congress. She joined us. We were also joined by a range of labor leaders on this trip, the people who represent both the workforce that's building the job, but also the Long Island Railroad workers who run the trains every day. And I want to recognize Anthony Simon and others who are joining us here today. Labor is a huge piece of this, but mostly I just want to welcome Governor Hochul to this huge milestone, a milestone for East Side Access for the whole region. Thank you, Governor Hochul, for being here.
Thank you, Dano, and what a celebration of collaboration. That's exactly what we experienced today as we had the narrated ride in from Jamaica Station to come here to get a sense of what our customers will soon be experiencing literally just over 1 year from now. As you can see, the construction continues, but it continues at a rate that was not going on before Jano Lieber took the helm at the MTA. And I'm so proud of the work that has been done in the past by so many talented individuals who put their heart and soul into projects like these, the men and women of labor, the people who from the Long Island Railroad, filling for his leadership, Anthony Simon, incredible people who have made a difference. And the whole focus of this, and will be the hallmark of my administration going forward, is to identify infrastructure projects that need to be accomplished to make the customer experience extraordinary. Everyone who lives downstate, Long Island, New York City, they deserve this. This is the greatest region on the earth, and it deserves to have the best transportation networks as well. And our disadvantage has been that our transportation network started a century ago, way before other parts of the country had developed them. So we have aging infrastructure and much more demand. And to have responded with this incredible facility, engineering like there's never been done, long 14 miles of new track, much of it underground, and to do this, continuing this during a pandemic. Please don't overlook the incredible work that was done when other people were able to zoom into their jobs, and these individuals showed up day after day after day, despite the risks to themselves. So I want to applaud everyone involved in this. 1 year from now, a little over 1 year from now, the 162,000 customers will say, wow. And this is not a trick. This is going to be the treat for them as we make these announcements and had this ride on Halloween here. I also want to say this is how we're going to continue our work. I have identified so many more projects that need to be activated and to get people back to work and to give our customers, our riders, a sense of optimism as we're coming through the dark pandemic era. They need to know that we are not relenting in our effort to deliver them incredible services by amazing workers here. And so we're going to be reducing commute times. That's music to everyone's ears. That means you can take a little longer getting ready in the morning. That means you're going to see your kids sooner at the end of the day. Reducing the round-trip commute by 40 minutes. Every minute matters when you're a commuter. That's going to be extraordinary. We're going to increase the LIR capacity to Manhattan by 45%. 45%, so the crowded trains that people have been accustomed to, that will be in the past no longer. We're also going to extend the Metro North Railroad into Penn Station for the first time. Let's get that done, get these projects finished. And we're going to have better connections to Metro North Railroad. Also, you think about, we're going to get more people saying, yes, I do want to have that experience. More people will be saying, I'll take mass transit, I'll take the train instead of taking their vehicles. It'll affect the overall air quality here as well. So this economic development project is also an economic development project. Above us, we are 150 feet underground, which is amazing. This is the largest project of its kind in the country. But the sensitivity that was undertaken in the engineering of this project, literally to have buffers and cushioning so the noise does not disrupt the thousands of workers above, that is forward thinking, and I want to applaud everybody who made that happen as well. So I'm excited. This is the largest commuter rail unit built in the United States since the 1950s. High five to everybody for getting that done, extraordinary. And also we're going to be having easier access from JFK Airport as well via the AirTran to the Jamaica station. So we got it done, almost done. Almost done. I'm very excited. We're almost done, but this is a major milestone, and I thank all of you for coming out on an early Sunday morning to celebrate this, and again, to thank everybody who's been involved and all the people you don't see here today for what they've done. So this is how I celebrate Halloween. I come out and say this is a real treat for the New York City region and Long Island, so thank you very much. And someone who's been at the forefront of this for 25 years, pushing these projects to serve her constituents and bringing billions and billions of dollars from Washington back to New York. I want to congratulate and thank my good friend Carolyn Maloney, our Congresswoman, and let her say a few words as well. Carolyn Maloney.
Thank you, Governor, for inviting me, but thank you more for focusing on transit, focusing on our infrastructure, investing in it, making it a priority to make our state even greater. I am absolutely thrilled and honored to have been on the very first ride of the Queens Manhattan Connector, the LIRR Connector. And it's very fitting because I was in the first meetings and many meetings since then for 25 years on pushing the federal money. It has over $7 billion in federal money. And it is the largest construction project, not in New York, not in New York City, not in New York State, but in the entire country. Two of the largest construction projects in the whole country are in the district I'm privileged to represent. One is this one, the LIRR Connector, and the other is the 2nd Avenue Subway. And both of them are state-of-the-art, the best in the country. When I get depressed, I go and ride the 2nd Avenue Subway, seriously, because it's so beautiful. Now I'll have another place to go and ride and think and enjoy, and it's going to improve the quality of life of our residents, our productivity as a great city and state. And I thank Jana Lieber and everyone at the MTA, all the workers here, all the labor here, all the people that made this happen. And I will share a true story. I have been told, working with the Federal Transportation Authority and the people that work on it, that the best work they see in the entire country comes from New York City's MTA. So thank you for what you've done for our city and our state and for doing such a professional, good job. Thank you.
Any on-topic questions?
When should we expect revenue service and what's going to take to get?
We're absolutely committed to the 2022 deadline. So we're going to get this into revenue service in 2022. I have to acknowledge the Long Island Railroad under Phil Eng's leadership Right now, we're in the stage of not only getting 29 separate systems and 20,000 devices, the complicated technology of a modern facility in order. That's really the work that remains to be done. But we're now entering the period where we're training the entire Long Island Railroad workforce who's going to operate the trains here, maintain the systems, and make sure they're safe. And we're also training a lot of the workers who are going to maintain the signals and hiring additional people to maintain that railroad infrastructure who are part of the Long Island Railroad team under the union leadership of Anthony Simon. So those are the things that are going on. It's about training, it's about getting ready, and it's about getting our workforce fully ready and finishing the systems.
You know, this facility was designed to accommodate the flux of Midtown East office workers. Midtown East offices are still largely empty and unused. So when this opens, who's going to ride it?
Yeah. Well, you know, Governor, would you like to respond to that?
Well, I will say something that'll get me in trouble, but I think the best way, and because it's Halloween, so cut me some slack, I think the best way to get everybody back is to ban Zoom in the state of New York. I won't do that, but I do believe that people, 1 year from now, they'll be back. It's happening slowly, not at the pace we'd like right now, but I do believe that many people are going to realize that they want to congregate back in the offices. This experiment works for some, and maybe there'll be more hybrid situations, which I think a lot of companies are heading toward. That is probably the best solution for many, as opposed to completely remote. So by the time this is done, and people see that they can have a much better commuting experience than they had pre-pandemic, that'll also be an enticement to say, I'm going back to my job in Midtown, or else fanning out from here anywhere else, as well as so important for our expanding employers on Long Island as well, for them to have the ability to tap into the tech talent that is really congregating here. People are leaving other cities to congregate here. So in a matter of 1 year, I really believe that there'll be a dramatic sea change in people's attitudes about where they want to do their work, and it will be back in the city.
Can I just add real quickly, but the LIRR is at capacity. It really is. It's almost overcrowded. And on day one, the Second Avenue subway had over 300,000 people that rode it. And the projections from the analysts is that 150,000 people will ride this on day one. And I predict that they'll probably be right. And the city's coming back under her leadership.
But on the specifics, Clayton, we've already seen that New Yorkers are ready to ride mass transit, because we know that when their discretionary travel is at 75%, it's really, as you say, that when the companies bring people back into the offices. And right now, based on the New York City partnership and all the surveys we're seeing, that number is probably going to move dramatically when we're on the other side of the Delta variant and in the new year. So this project is ready, and as Congresswoman Maloney said, the demand for Long Island Railroad ridership is significant. We were already over capacity before COVID. Maybe this gives us a little bit of breathing room, and I think Long Islanders are going to welcome that.
On that topic, I have a question about a policy that some rider advocates have proposed, the Freedom Ticket for commuter rails, making it more affordable to ride the commuter rails within the city limits, which could induce a lot more riders to use these new facilities that are coming in, as well as Penn Access. What do you think about that idea now?
Well, I think it's something we got to spend some time with the governor talking about, but we have chartered a board staff working group on fare issues that's going to report back by the end of the year. So we hope to be able to increase, without getting into every specific, which still needs to be worked out, we hope to be able to make it even more desirable to use mass transit based on fare. We're going to come up with some more fare strategies. We've talked a little bit about discounts, and we've maintained the off-peak fares for Long Island Railroad riders, which is a very significant discount, up to 40%. We're going to be working on ideas for additional incentives in the weeks and months to come.
Governor, do you plan on hanging on to this PPE as your costume today?
How does that, do you like it? How's it look? How does it look? No, and it is fun to be out here on Halloween. I know it's like a major holiday in this city, a lot of festivities, and I think that's just a reminder that we are back. Contrast last year, the streets were desolate around Halloween. Few people, revelers were out, but people are so energized, so excited to be back. I was at the Diwali celebration at Times Square. I know I just missed the Congresswoman. People want to be back, and that's why I really believe that the timing of this is perfect. Get the work done while people are still in this situation, assessing what they want to do. But the employers want them back. We need to start filling these buildings again, and people are going to say, you know, I missed the city. I missed coming back here, and that's going to be important. The last thing I'll add to that, in response to your question, our vaccination rates continue to go up. So people who have been home because they're nervous about contracting the virus, we now have some of the highest vaccination rates in the country, depending on part of the state. Certainly here in the city of New York, less than 1% infection rate in the city. It's phenomenal. Also, the booster shots available. We're going to get kids vaccinated. So I believe that that transition time is going to be the time when people look back and put this in the rearview mirror once and for all, and we'll be back to a better normal than we even had before.
As the Congresswoman said, we're kind of coming into the tail end of this project. 25 years, it goes back to Rockefeller in '69. Before JANO, it's basically coming in about 10 years late and many, many billions over budget. There's another giant project, even larger, that's at the beginning, the Gateway. What steps are you taking to make sure that Gateway, now at $30 billion, comes in most economically, comes in as fast as possible? Mr. Cohn had said something about this regarding Gateway. There's struggles with Amtrak and New Jersey Transit. So how are you looking at Gateway to save time and money on that project?
This is a very high priority of mine. I don't have troubles with Amtrak. I sat down with the leadership of Amtrak literally a couple of days ago to work out the details, and we'll be working closely with New Jersey. This will get done, and everyone who knows me knows I'm very impatient. I want to get this done, but also I want to say something else. Penn Station itself needs to be redone, and I'm not waiting until 2035 for the tunnel to be done to start talking about the Penn Station experience, which is substandard. So that is where I'll be making some announcements very soon on this. High priority of mine. We will get to Penn Station expansion. Tunnels going to happen simultaneously. But let's focus on what New Yorkers have to deal with day in and day out, and that is Halloween. It feels like a real trick when you have to go into that Penn Station and navigate your way through dark areas. It is like a setting of Halloween, scary, and a place that you do not want to be any longer than possible. We can change that in the model of the Moynihan Station. How magnificent is that? That is what everybody who travels in our region and comes to our city or comes to visit, they deserve that experience. So we've already had many meetings on this. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but you'll be expecting some major announcement.
To build these projects, to do them quickly and to save time and money. Are you interested in saving time and money?
Of course I'm interested in saving time and money. Yes, their plans are there. This has been locked up for too long. I worked for Senator Moynihan back in the 80s as his attorney on his staff in Washington. He was on the infrastructure committee. We talked about projects like Moynihan Station. We talked about everything that's happening now as being visionary. Now is the time to get it done. I'm impatient. Everyone here is impatient. We're going to get it done. So we have the plans. I'll be also making some announcements soon, but even you'll see in my State of the State address, which will be unveiled in the next couple of months, you'll see a major, major focus on infrastructure because the time is now. This is how we're going to build our way back out of this pandemic.
Yes. Hi, Governor. Another rail project that I think you're less excited about was the LaGuardia airtrain. I know your predecessor was a big supporter of it. You less so. Could you talk about what your reservations about that project are, and do you see it as dead in the water?
The disruptions, the going the wrong way, the two-seat, I saw a lot of flaws in that project. I know that at the time it was considered the best we could do. I simply went back to the team and said, I'm challenging everyone to come up with a better system. And we will do that, and we'll make some announcements the next year. We will have a world-class transportation from LaGuardia to the downtown area, city of New York. We'll get that done, but just I'm rethinking some of these, not the priorities of getting it done, but exactly how it's accomplished, and that's the only difference. It will get done.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.